All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our Tensorflow course, and we're still going over our understanding visual transformers module. Let's have a look at what we went over today. Now, we still haven't gotten any code yet. We're still taking notes, and we're watching the instructor go through certain demonstrations and certain presentations and reading through certain papers. So we just want to read through some information we accumulated along the way. So let's pick up where we left off with that. Now, with this formula, words which are most similar to each other in certain contexts are going to have the highest values. Let me show you what that looks like first, so I can show you exactly what we're working with instead of just picking up from a random location. All right, so the product of these will give us a 5 by 5 matrix. That's the product of multiplying our query and our key. If you remember, that's what we did with these two here. So the product of these will give us a 5 by 5 matrix. After getting this 5 by 5 matrix, we could pass it through a softmax layer. Now, we looked at the softmax layer in previous sessions, but one thing we should note here is that once we have the 5 by 5 matrix, it produces an attention map similar to what we've seen before, where we have the source input vertical and horizontal. So you can see this is our source input. The weather today is amazing. We have a horizontal and vertical. And this is how we're going to measure how strong or how likely it is that the two words match up, depending on where we put our marks at. So if we put a mark right here or a check right here, we're indicating that these two words align strongly together. Or let's say we put a check right here, we're indicating that weather and weather. Let's say if we put a check right here, we're indicating that's a date and weather. So that's how we're actually going to read that right there. So that's how that gets right there. Now with this formula, words which are most similar to each other in certain contexts are going to have the highest values, like I just said. So if we have a check, it's going to be like a value saying, hey, we're indicating that this location here has the highest value. So you should concentrate on these two words. They will probably have the most highest value and most similarity to each other. Now from here we have this 5 by 3 matrix, which then multiplied by a 5 by 3 matrix will give us a 5 by 3 matrix. Generally, we call a matrix sorry about that, which gets multiplied by the attention matrix, the value. So the matrix that gets multiplied by the attention is called the value. So we have the query, the key, and the value. Now basically that's what we went over this morning. We did take a little bit more notes and go over a little more concepts, but I'm not going to go over everything right now. But I will keep you posted every step of the way. For now, it's the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.